It's the Dark Lord.
The Dark Lord, Dark Mike. Dude, when I speak, my ears are like getting bad.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Nice. What movie did we go to see where there was like a Darth Vader? Like someone dressed as Darth Vader?
Yeah, it was one of the sequel,
one of the new ones.
Yeah, one of the sequel trilogy.
And like, as a grown, like 35-year-old man,
Yeah.
like walking by a tall Darth
Yeah.
Vader, I was like intimidated by it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just such a cool character.
And like, Darth Vader's one of those characters where you don't even have to like look a certain way because you're completely covered. So you could be like, you know, it could be like a dog under that costume. Well, not really.
You picked one possible thing it couldn't be. Dude, if I saw a dog dressed as Darth Vader...
It is I, Darth Vader, and I'm here with Matt.
It's the Dark Lord.
Yeah, the Dark Lord, Darth Mike. Dude, when I speak, my ears are like getting pounded. My voice is pounding the short hairs of my ears.
You were right about one thing. The mask was hilarious.
Okay. Hello there.
Nice.
It's actually me,
Whoa.
Ben Mike Obi.
I thought it was Annie the whole time.
So I got a question for you.
Yeah?
How did Obi-Wan come up with the name Ben?
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's the podcast, guys.
But you know what I do know? How Han Solo came up with the name Chewie. Because they went into it in the freaking movie, Solo movie,
Yeah,
as if we needed
he
to
chewed his long hairs. So, everybody, this is the Buddy Shots podcast, where every week we unmask the truth, Batman, and it looks like we don't have any taglines for this title yet, Obi-Wan. So, this is Mike Week, episode 70.
Mike, we.
And I may or may not have sent us straight to hell.
You may. Fucked up.
I'm like, da. Actually, screw this. I'm not going to be Darth Vader. I'm going to be Dark Helmet.
Nice.
See how long this lasts for. I'm like, hashtag Schwartz. So, how are you doing, man?
Good, how about you?
Pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. Even
Feeling
though what
good?
we've been through. I feel like I went through a battle and came out the other side.
This Mike Week was our generation's Vietnam.
Hashtag stolen valor. That's not funny, but whatever. Yeah, so I guess do you just want to get into
I'm
nerd
ready to
news?
get into it.
Are you ready to get into this horse shit? Let's see. Oh my god, dude, my face is so blacked out here with this on. Not like anybody wants to see my face, I guess. So let's get on to nerd news. I'm gonna move it. There we go, up here, so it's not covering your beautiful visage. Everybody wants to get a little piece of that. He's a buddy you don't want to miss.
I'm the buddy, I'm the boy.
You are, just like Ernest P. Worrell. Power to a whirl.
Just like Herman Munster. I am a boy.
He's like, what? Hammer. So, what do you have? Do you have any good news?
Yeah.
You're like, I grew up on this podcast
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
The Kids in the Hall are back.
Oh, nice. I didn't know they were...
They made a new season
Dude,
on Amazon Prime.
that's cool. I didn't know
And
that.
I didn't know if you were a fan or not. I don't think we ever talked about it. Or at least not since Paul.
Yeah, I remember Paul was a fan. Our friend that we went to high school with that sadly passed away years ago. But, like, I think Mark was a fan, too, at one point. Right?
Probably,
or maybe
yeah,
not.
probably.
Because that seems like something that was up his alley because he was a big fan of, like, Canadian bacon and, like, a bunch of Canadian stuff. But, yeah, I mean, I didn't watch, like, all their stuff, but I've seen a fair number of their skits and stuff. I used to think they were pretty legit.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not the world's biggest fan. Like, some of it's hit and miss for me, but, like, when they hit, it's like they hit hard. And this new series is hilarious. Like, I was crying laughing in the first episode.
Nice. I didn't know it was already out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't lost a step. Plus, now they're, like, super old, so that like they can make jokes about being super old, and it's great. So
that's awesome, dude.
One good thing Amazon has done is producing a new season. So
that is legit.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah,
and I found out all the Kids in the Hall series is on Amazon. So I think it used to be on Netflix like 10 years ago, and I was working my way through it.
Yeah,
and then it went away, and I never finished it. So yeah,
streaming services are a little weird now with like people securing rights finally and stuff because it's like, but that's some good news.
Yep. What, you have just a bunch of bad news?
I've got one good news.
All right.
But I thought this was kind of weird, but I guess just to preface this, like in 2021, like the whole Disney conglomerate, like the company said that digitally aged cameo like Lee that they inserted into like in-game would be like the last cameo they did for
Spike
him.
Lee?
But
Christopher Lee?
Apparently they've gone back on that.
Lee Christmas?
Dude, fucking hell yeah. Dude, fuck all this shit. Toll Road. But Marvel actually, they're going to put a CG Stan Lee into the future films.
That's cool.
But this was hilarious. Well, I guess it depends on what you think is hilarious, but the wording of this. One fan wrote on Twitter, "Ghoulish behavior. Do not resurrect the man for further movie appearances as a CGI puppet, no matter what his estate is willing to sign off on." And in the article it said, is this what he would really want? And I'm like, I'm pretty sure Stan Lee would want to have his... Because he always talked about, like, in his stuff, like, you know, he wanted to do cameos and stuff all the time. Like, he's like, I want to be in every single one of these movies. And, like, what better way than to have him, like, you know what I mean? I think he would...
Well, they should just find a guy that looks exactly like him, like that Donald Pleasance guy in Halloween 2.
Yeah. And, like, I was like, it's fucking fake, it's
CGI.
And then it wasn't, and I was like, wait a minute.
My mind was blown.
Yeah, I was like, what? So, somehow they made the effects look weird. But we got to bring it down, because... Ray Liotta passed away this week, sadly.
Yeah.
He was in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I always liked seeing him in movies.
Yeah. What would you say is like his biggest thing for you?
Goodfellas.
Yeah, I was gonna say
by far.
Yeah.
But, he's great. I found out that like they wanted him in Sopranos, which he would have been great in, but for sure. I think that he wanted to stay away from like doing just nothing but mafia type movies. So.
I heard the same thing with like De Niro and Pacino for Sopranos as well. Like they were like no, and then I was like, then they went on to do like fucking a bunch more shit. So it's like okay.
But also another really good movie that I like of his is No Escape, which is basically I think it's a post-apocalyptic, or maybe he's in a prison, like a futuristic post-apocalyptic prison, and he has to break out.
That's cool.
It's like a low-budget action movie from the 90s.
Escape Plan.
Yeah. Even better.
I actually thought that movie was pretty good.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah. I haven't seen the sequels, though. Batista's in a couple of them.
The sequel was
They
awful.
looked pretty crap, but... Actually, I'm going to do a sound test, because... Okay, well... The sequels...
Also, one more... I'm just looking at his filmography now. Something Wild. Have you ever seen that? It's a really weird movie where it starts out as a comedy, and then it turns into a horror movie at the end, and Ray Liotta's like a crazy psycho.
Sounds like every one of our podcasts.
Just stay tuned.
So, I guess I'll do another maybe, because you actually took that first one better than I thought you would with Stan Lee. Ewan McGregor wants to make another season of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the funny thing about this is when they like talk to the people that were, I guess, doing the show, like the writers, or I guess like the showrunner, they were like, shit, we didn't think that he would actually be interested in doing another season. This is kind of like a one thing. And I was like, we'll get into why I think it would actually probably be beneficial if they did another season, honestly.
Well, maybe he meant like we should just delete this and start over from scratch.
Maybe we should make Obi-Wan Kenobi about fucking my character.
Like this was a MacGuffin.
Yeah. But my last...
Or a mulligan, not a MacGuffin.
I want to do this again. So give me a object that is desired by all to move the plot forward, so I can try again. So apparently they're going to make a live action show, like a series about Speed Racer, and I was like, dude, this is freaking sweet. I can't wait because I'm a big fan. I like the Wachowski movie, but sadly it's not by Wachowski. It's, well, I don't know. All I know is J.J. Abrams is like an executive producer, which doesn't really mean shit. It just means he's a fan and he might have some hand in it. But it's also going to be on like Apple TV, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't have Apple TV. Like,
nor do I want it.
Yeah, but I'm happy it's being made. Hopefully, it's fun. Yeah. So, any other news?
That's all I got.
Do you have any recommendations for the nation?
Just Kids in the Hall.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely.
Between that and I Think You Should Leave, like, we've got some good sketch comedy.
Yeah, yeah, true.
Which they're making another season of that.
Yeah, I heard about that. Do you have any tales to tell?
No, we'll have enough tales of.
Yeah, this podcast is probably going to be like 10 hours long. Well, probably not, but weird watches.
You were right about one thing. This watch was weird. It was quite an experience.
What?
Yeah.
You must follow my lead. Why? What? It's like, they did that in the fucking show too. She was like,
what?
She's like, I'm not going to follow you. And he's like, what? And I was like, gotta get in the fucking shit. So
I don't remember owning a droid when he has a droid in his house in the show. Come on.
Maybe he's just like
senile.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan Kenobi series. This was talked about like a long time ago. They were not a long time ago. It was 10 years ago. When did they first talk about this?
It's been in the works for a long time. I think it was going to be a movie at one point, and then
because
Disney failed at making Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
so
when
now they're making only shows. So.
When they first acquired Star Wars back, whenever they did, and they decided they were going to make not only like a sequel trilogy, they were going to do they were like Han Solo movie, Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, and Yoda movie, and they shit the
Boba
bed.
Fett movie was supposed to be a movie originally too.
Yeah, and but then they made at least the somewhat wise decision to move it over to series because it seems to at least be a little bit more successful after the shitting of the bed.
Yeah.
But anyway, having said all that, this just premiered Friday. The first 2 episodes, so that would be yesterday. So it's marketed as Star Wars Obi-Wan Kenobi. This is a live-action show, and they bring back Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Star Wars prequel trilogy, and Hayden Christensen reprising his role as Darth Vader. It takes place 10 years after Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And pretty much this is we catch up with Obi-Wan, and he's watching over Luke Skywalker as Leia spends her life with her adopted family. And he just has to keep a low profile, and he has been at the meat chopping plant on the desert planet of Tatooine. And I
wanted some of that dragon meat.
that's where we pick up our adventure. So Obi-Wan Kenobi is here.
So you were excited about this, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Me too.
I was pretty pumped.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be, I said it's going to be good. Not great, but good.
Yeah. I guess before we get too far into that, who was your favorite Star Wars character from the original saga?
I'm the only. I have the lamest answer possible for this.
I know. I'm pretty sure I know who it is. Can I guess?
Yeah.
Is it Lobot?
Yes, I love Lobot. Lobot's right up there. But my favorite character has always been C-3PO.
That's cool.
With the guy everyone hates and thinks is like a big wuss.
Well, he's like the character that I feel like was very instrumental in the original trilogy and not so much in the prequel, but then it was like a joke in the sequel trilogy.
I just think he looks cool and he's funny because him and R2-D2 are like basically like Laurel and Hardy at least
right.
in the original.
Yeah,
series.
they're like the comic relief, except for way more useful.
Yeah.
It's funny because I asked you that.
What
question.
about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say I asked you that question, but I don't really. If I had to, I guess. I mean, I think when I was younger, I was probably like, oh, I like Luke Skywalker and stuff like that, but like. I probably would have to say Darth Vader, honestly. Like, from the original trilogy, at least. Just the look alone, it's like, it's legit.
Well, dude, what movie did we go to see where there was like a Darth Vader, like someone dressed as Darth Vader?
Yeah, it was one of the
new ones.
Yeah, one of the sequel trilogy
and like,
movies.
As a grown, like 35-year-old man, like walking by a tall Darth Vader, I was like intimidated by it. Like, it's just such a cool character.
Yeah, it was legit though, because I mean, like, Darth Vader's one of those characters where you don't even have to like look a certain way because you're completely covered. So you could be like, it could be like a dog under that costume. Well, not really.
You picked one possible thing it couldn't be. Dude, if I saw a dog dressed as Darth Vader, I'd be like, you're right about one thing. That Vader was a dog.
He's a real canine. That doesn't even make sense. I guess what I meant to say is...
Use the force of tail wagging.
Literally, it could be anybody under there except for an animal. But, you know what I mean. Like, it's a cool thing because when I saw him, I was like, dude, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I do remember that I think a kid, when we went and saw episode 3, was dressed up as Darth Vader and everybody was like cheering him on and stuff. Which was cool because it's like, I mean, that's what Star Wars, that's about and stuff.
Yeah.
It's who it's for and stuff.
Only thing cooler I've ever seen is when that guy dressed like George Romero to see Land.
Dude, that was so cool, and me and you were the only one like flipping out about it.
We should have become best friends with him.
We should have got a picture with him, but everybody else there was like, if you do that,
who cares?
Yeah, you're dead to us. And we were like, okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I guess what about the prequel trilogy? Do you have a favorite?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ewan McGregor was the best part of the prequel trilogy by far.
I really liked Qui-Gon Jinn, honestly.
Yep, me too.
That was one of the things I was most pissed off about, was that he got fucking narked.
He had a cool death though.
He did.
He was in one good movie.
Yeah, Taken.
The Padres was kind of cool.
Yeah. Gonna try to create some concoction here of Star Wars Origins. We're gonna do like a Gatorade white and blue.
Some blue milk?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it's not really working. It's just making it more blue. Okay,
Close enough.
Anyway.
Nice. I like it.
I'm bringing out all the fucking gimmicks for this one. Even though this was probably out of the two my least favorite. Anyway, Star Wars is always fun to talk about, though. I think this is the first time we've actually talked about Star Wars on the podcast related to something we've watched. We've given out many times and bitched about Star Wars many times, but this is the first time we've actually.
It's that's true. But you know what's ironic? This will be my last time talking about it.
About Star Wars?
I'm done, dude. I'm done. I'm out.
That doesn't taste great. Like done with Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like forever?
Until like something changes.
Yeah.
If George Lucas comes back or something, or
He comes back. Come back, Star Wars.
He's like,
George.
I'm back, baby. Yeah!
People keep asking me, am I back? Yeah, I think I'm back. It's like,
We hear Lucas's entrance music.
Yeah.
Like, he's back.
He's like, dun dun dun. What? He's like, Lucas 316 just says I fucking rewrote these trilogies, bitch. I'm like, what? Stone Cold
like,
George Lucas.
What'd you think of the sequel trilogies? It doesn't matter what you think.
God. So, as usual, yeah, I mean, it's funny because, well.
So what'd you think? You're like, I loved it.
I started off thinking it was okay.
Yeah.
But then there's a very specific point in which it did not become okay.
Yep.
But
I'm surprised we were so in agreement about this. But I mean, I guess we agree on most things. But.
Yeah, I mean, we've grown up together and we agree on a lot of things. I mean, obviously we don't agree on everything. See previous episodes. But I think we come at things from the same, mindset. And I think with Star Wars, we're pretty similar on what we think. So I'm just going to kind of run down things here a little bit.
Well, you know what?
Oh, go ahead.
I think we should read. So we did something we'd never do ever.
Yeah, because this comes from back when we'd had the Matt and Mike podcast experience. We did a whole thing where like you would say save it for the podcast because I think that came from another podcast you used to listen to, right? What was it called? Was it called This Movie or?
No, it wasn't. I forget. It's another movie.
But essentially, it means like, hey, if you want to talk about it, wait till we're on air because then we won't rehash shit. And we've always done that. We've never really talked about it. But
this time, like,
we couldn't help ourselves.
The venting just happened because I think we should read the text.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do a dramatic reading.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want me to pull mine up and I'll read mine and read my part and you read your part? I got to get to the actual text here since.
So this happened yesterday, and about 10 o'clock, you sent me, or about 8:30. You were like, "I've got this series up on Plex. Let's do this," and I was pumped.
Yeah.
And by 1:39, I sent you the initial.
Yeah, go ahead and start with the initial.
What the fuck am I watching?
I love that I just got random text from you with that in all caps. Haha. If you're watching Obi-Wan, I can guarantee without a doubt exactly what you're talking about.
Haha, I bet. I just watched the worst 3 minutes in Star Wars history. Actually, I forgot about the holiday special. That's still way worse. At least George Lucas had the good sense to try to destroy every copy of that. Haha.
And then I sent ha 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 ha. I'm sure we'll talk about that special at some point, but I'm not looking forward to I'm not going, what the fuck? I'm not looking to nominate it personally.
Not worth it. I suffered through it once just to say I've seen it. Never again. It's truly unwatchable.
Agreed. It's also been covered to death.
So then a short time later, I just sent you a video of me shaking my head looking at the show because it just kept getting worse.
What do you say?
Need sound.
Yeah. And then I say, you are face instead of your
Oh,
face.
yeah.
I fucked up.
Then I sent a hilarious video of me mocking the horrible action
which
scenes
I'm going to
in the
insert
show.
into the edit now.
So in the Kenobi show, there's all these scenes of a little tiny tot Princess Leia like running away from adults, like full-grown adults. And it's like the slowest chases I've ever seen. She's like, but none of the adults can catch her. And here's the adults chasing her. They're like, it's horrible.
Okay, and then I said, haha, okay, well, we're not going to put that on here. I just made this. And then you react to that, and I say, I'm like, can you see Flea even doing a stutter step chase after her as he is third in line chasing Leia?
Poor Flea did his best.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed that, and I was like, huh?
So what we're referring to is in the episode, there's a chase scene with Leia, and that's when we are like, what the fuck is this? That, and they do this weird thing where two lackeys are running, and then she runs into frame on the path to make it easier for them. Even though they had... Even though they had to, like, do that weird cartoon run to be slow enough to not catch her. Good lord. That Matt did a reenactment of.
LOL, I was cracking myself up with that video Bob Saget style. Yeah, that show is very poorly directed.
It's just so weird. Like, what's the point in that chase scene?
It's a shame because Ewan is acting his balls off, and he's so good as always. I knew Disney wasn't capable of making a great show, but I didn't think it would be this cringeworthy bad.
Okay, so apparently I sent you a fuck ton of stuff here. Can't have Leia just get captured. She's a fighter. I'm like, it's a fucking little kid. Who cares? Wait, what? Who she is when she is older. Even Anakin got treated like shit by... Is his name Watto? Okay, I didn't fuck that up. As a slave boy. Actually, they should have had him do a decapitation to Watto because he'll eventually beat Darth Vader.
That cracked me up.
Yeah, Ewan is awesome. So have you watched the second episode? I did just to see what happened, and I honestly couldn't believe what goes down at one point. I can tell tomorrow's going to be fun. I went on Geek Tyrant as usual for nerd news stuff, and the editor was like, 10 out of 10, Obi-Wan. And listened to these media nerd geek tweets praising it, and it reminds me of the Red Letter Media thing where they had the nerd crew and we're all doing Force stuff and like shilling for Star Wars.
That was so great that the one on Last Jedi, they're like, Last Jedi is not maybe the best Star Wars movie, but possibly the best movie.
Yeah!
I said, haha, so good. Yeah, I watched both episodes. What a shame.
Dude, another chase in episode 2. What the shit? Obi-Wan, a.k.a. Leia chase.
It was during that second chase when I paused it and made that video because I couldn't believe it.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, I was a bit sucked. Wait, what? I was a bit shocked. So I texted Matt and I said, I was a bit sucked. They did that twice. I meant shocked.
There's a similar thing in the Boba Fett show. There was a speeder bike chase that looked like total shit and was like 1/100th the speed of the one in Return of the Jedi. It's like you could walk faster than the bikes were going. It got roasted on the internet. Haha. Disney fucking sucks.
Yeah, the only stuff I like from them these days is the animated stuff like Encanto. I didn't watch any of the Boba Fett. I heard they had to bring in Mandalorian to try and save it.
Yeah, Boba Fett disappeared for 2 episodes. In his own show! I'm like, this is just incompetent storytelling and filmmaking. So pompous.
You're smelling your own farts. Yeah. This is all like legit. This wasn't like bullshit that we made up for the podcast here. This was us talking yesterday, and
that's why I figured like we're not going to say it any better than this.
I feel bad for the actor because he seemed to understand what made people like Boba Fett, but they didn't want to listen or didn't care. They were like, yeah, that's nice. Now shut the fuck up and say the lines. He should have shut the fuck up and stopped talking.
And then I sent you a pic of the IMDb page, Deborah Chow, director, and I said, I'm like Deborah Chow on some slunk meat.
And then I said, she's dog chow.
Based on the show, I guarantee she's never seen a Star Wars movie. Haha.
And then I said, yeah, that's the biggest issue with not just Star Wars, but stuff like Picard, like they never watched any of the source stuff.
Yep, we should probably stop talking about it or we won't have anything else to say on the show.
And I agree.
There's just a few more.
Yeah, let's see here. Also, rip Rupert Friend, a man who nobody ever saw being killed ever.
Unless we just read all these texts out loud. Actually, that would be pretty funny.
I guess she'll be the deciding factor on this is funny or not. God damn it. I'll just say one more thing. I like how on IMDb Leia is higher listed than Ewan McGregor, like as Obi-Wan.
That is disgraceful. That's disgraceful.
Yeah. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, so... That's, yeah, good times. All right, see you next week.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah, that sucked the life out of me, honestly, reading those.
There's worse, I mean...
You're thinking about, like, how... Yeah.
There's worse things out there. I mean,
yeah.
Ewan McGregor's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome to see him playing the character again.
You know what's funny is, like, things that I didn't list on here that I just have here is, like, the recap. It got me super pumped. It made, like, the prequels look... Like I should have
watched that. I skipped it, and then I saw everyone was raving about it.
Yeah,
it's pretty sad when the recap's the best part of your show. Like,
yeah, but it made the prequels actually look fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I was like, holy shit, and it made me pumped because then the next scene was like the Order 66 thing, and I was like, okay, this is cool. But then it's like fast forward 10 years. I was like, what was the point of that? Even showing that?
Did you think that parts of the show looked like a fan movie? Like, it just looks cheap. I thought it looked bad in a lot of ways. Like, when the villains, like, walk into the desert town at the beginning, I was like, this looks like a cheap, like, knockoff Star Wars. But I get it's not it's a TV show. It's not a movie, but...
I don't know. I think it's because TV shows are definitely shot differently and they have more time. The problem is a lot of times, this is what's going to be 6 episodes. They've already wasted 1/3 of it.
Down the toilet.
But I don't know. Not like the time was much better used in the sequels, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of fucked up.
What'd you think of the villains?
I mean, I was pretty pumped about this because the whole thing of the the Inquisitors, which are essentially Darth Vader's dudes that go out and find Jedis to kill. Mm-hmm. That's always been something that's been in other stuff like animated stuff or in games and stuff, but this is the first time I think they were gonna appear in a movie or a show, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, and it was it's weird because they have two or three people that look like badasses, the main, the Inquisitor, and then the fifth brother, and then another person, because they're there's the Inquisitor, and then there's the brother, and then the sister, and they're called fifths, whatever the hell, they have numbers. And then they have one lady that's I guess they were we don't want to make her look evil, so we're just gonna have her be some random chick that she's the up and coming hey, we saved your ass, and you're lucky to be with us, but she's gonna be the most evil and betray them. And I'm like, what?
Did you get the feeling that she may be a hero by the end of the show?
Not really.
Okay.
I felt like she was super vindictive for some reason.
Yeah. It was just weird because all the other they kept fighting with each other about how they should be doing things, which
yeah, it's funny because I think what's gonna happen. I'm gonna make a thing here because I'm probably gonna watch the rest of this just to see Hayden Christensen show up. But I'm gonna guess what's gonna happen is they're gonna have a thing where they flash back and show that there's kids at the beginning. One of them escaped and it was her, and she's gonna be trained by Darth Vader and to become an Inquisitor or something like that, and then that's why she's going after Obi-Wan Kenobi and all this crap, and or she's gonna be jaded and be where were you? You didn't, you left all of us to die and just hid on Tatooine and stuff like that. She's totally vindictive. Mm-hmm. And she could have how Star Wars likes their redemption.
Yep.
But it's the only time it's ever been done well is in one time with Darth Vader. All the other times it was too little, too late. No one gives a shit.
Yep.
I liked kind of the looks of the Inquisitors.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, the third sister at first I was yikes, this is really bad. I'm embarrassed for this actress, but she kind of grew on me over the course of the show. By the end I was there could be something.
The second episode was pretty shit with the whole Catwoman across the rooftop.
That was laughably terrible. I was why?
Yeah, I was what is this?
It was so stupid.
Because in the second episode, she's running along the rooftops.
Dumb.
And it's weird because she was doing Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Kung Fu, almost floating.
It could have been cool, but it was executed so bad. It was these moves are slowing her down.
Yeah.
If she would just run and jump, she could have. Just the action in this series.
Did you see
sucks.
in the second episode, where they did a hard boiled ripoff kind of thing?
No.
There's a part where one of the aliens shoots at Obi-Wan and these green birds doves fly essentially, and I'm oh my god, dude.
I really liked the when Obi-Wan Kenobi finds out Darth Vader is still alive.
That was fucking
great moment.
The funny thing is,
so
it's
good.
Anything with Ewan McGregor, it's makes it almost worse because you're why the fuck isn't it just the Inquisitors, Darth Vader, and him?
Yeah, or just him.
I mean, I don't know. I like the Inquisitor stuff with them looking for him.
Sure.
But one of my nitpicks is something that I'm not a huge fan of with like prequel stuff. Is like they have a scene where like one of the Inquisitors is like threatening to kill Owen, who is like, Owen. Throw a moment from the train style. From like, you know, Owen is the adopted, like, you know, or like I guess like the uncle of fucking Luke Skywalker, and he's in the fucking 4th episode, which comes after this. So she's not gonna fucking kill him.
That's the problem.
So it's like, why did they even do that? Like, why did they even threaten this particular person? Because there's no tension there. Like, there were other scenes where she just cuts off a dude's hand.
That was pretty funny.
And it's like, or like a lady's hand, and I was like, why the hell was this person even trying to talk back to a fucking Force user? But like, that kind of stuff I don't get, because it's like, why even put that in? They just want to have, you know, Uncle Owen in the show, and he was in the show, but like, why have him get that involved where he's like she's essentially, there's like 50 people in that square, and she's like, yo! Like, fucking, wait, I thought we were plugged in. We weren't. Okay, we are now. So, we are still live, thank God. But that was just, it's stuff like that where I'm like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why is this... Why did they think that was a good idea? Like the whole thing with Leia. We're here for you. Just put a bag on her fucking head. We don't need to do a chase. Like, so
and we don't need the scene where she's like, I'm not even a real Organa. This is like some Disney like Little Mermaid shit that's like not necessary. Like, what's the obsession with like,
what's with this shit?
Family legacies? Like, I'm a Skywalker now. Oh, you're an Organa.
But that's all Star Wars is about, right? Family legacies.
That's true.
So Leia, I have a thing here that was kind of like, it was just, you know, my whole thing where I go through stuff and I see something and I'm like, what the fuck? So they're flying in their like flying limousines back to the palace, and the next shot is the exterior, because they're like waving to the public and the people are waving back, but the next shot is the exterior and they're fucking all tented, and I'm like, the people outside wouldn't even see her waving, so what the fuck is that? How's that make any sense?
Didn't notice that.
It'd be like, you know, the president's in a limo and he's in the fucking back and he's like, Arr! It's like, and they're waving back, like, I mean, I'm sure that happens, but like, what's the point? You know, like, he could be in there like, fuck you.
I thought Flea was really good and perfectly cast. It was like,
I was
scary kidnapper,
right? I've seen him in other stuff too, just like small bit stuff, and I always
Back
think
to the
he's
Future
awesome.
too.
Yeah. She says, "I'd rather be digested by a Jocko beast," and this is when I was almost like, "What the fuck is this shit?" I said, "What is this? What the fuck is this?" And I had to look up this crap because I thought it was just something they made up, which I guess it is, because it's all made up. Star Wars, it's fiction, it ain't real.
I saw a Jocko Beast on the road.
Fucking Darth Vader's real, man.
Still real to me.
Jocko beasts were force-sensitive Arctic herd animals found in the tundras of ice planets in the Outer Rim. So, like...
Are you glad you did that research?
I think it paid off.
I agree.
I'm not even going to say my notes for the Leia chase. We already talked about this. I do have a note, though, of me being an idiot that says, Dude chasing looks like Flea over here. Oh. He looks so much like him, it is him. What'd you think of seeing the guy like from episode 3 in the prequels?
Owen?
Aaron! No, the dad that like adopts
Jimmy Smits?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was okay. I thought his acting was a little wonky.
He looked like he had seen better days. I mean, obviously it's old. It's
We're all getting old.
It's old. He's older, but yeah, I felt like there was like something off.
I think there was something off with almost everyone in this show except Ewan McGregor.
Yeah. I'm sure whenever Hayden Christensen shows up, he'll be fucking awesome too.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see.
It's funny how I've come full circle, and I used to be like, man, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's awesome. You know, I like Qui-Gon Jinn, but Hayden Christensen was like, I don't know how I feel about that guy, but now I'm like, if only I had known. if I had known what was to
Could
come.
get worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about the public fucking hanging of a kid?
Okay.
Or wait, that never happened. I meant like when they took like the Jedi and like fucking
Strung him up.
seat belted him to the fucking, and everybody was like,
Basically, Obi-Wan Kenobi got that dude killed.
yeah.
He's like, help! Please help me!
Yeah, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's like, bury your fucking lightsaber and be like me. He's like, be like Mike. Fucking, kick ass. Actually, he told him not to kick ass. He told him to, like, hide. But it's like, dude, they already know where he is, so it's too late for him to lay low.
Yeah.
Well, how the fuck did he, like, how did they find him? Why didn't he just go into the desert? Obi-Wan Kenobi, didn't he tell him to go back into town? He's like, go back into town and get fucking killed so I can get to the next episode, you idiot. I did like some of the costumes. Like, Obi-Wan Kenobi's, like, new get-up was kind of cool. We had, like, this blue shirt and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. At one point, during one of the action scenes, like there was a henchman who was like an alligator man, and he looked so cool.
Are you talking about in the second episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, the only note I have from the second episode is there's a T-Rex bounty hunter in a shot.
Very Star Warsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, what the fuck? There's like a mini T-Rex in this movie now.
I love the alligator man.
And I guess I should say series, but these are these are movies now. Come on,
Stop fooling yourself.
Yeah. Obi-Wan goes to dig up a box with lightsabers in it. I guess he's lucky that the sand in 10 years didn't really move
No kidding.
or be exposed, and someone found the lightsabers. It's like,
And he didn't even like bury it near a familiar object. Like it was
Yeah.
just in the middle of a sea of
yeah,
sand.
he was like, just went straight for it. It was like, zzz, zzz. Here it is.
I did notice a little error there where he's
Yeah.
like he's digging, and then
Yeah.
you have the thing where it goes chunk,
Yeah.
and then it cuts, and you see the whole box has already been dug up. It's like, well, another mistake.
Maybe he
Nice.
used force, like, unearth. He was like, tunk, and then it was like,
This series needed some force editing.
some forced editing. And then he puts on the classic Jedi robes, and I'm like, are you trying to be fucking caught? Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Obi-Wan Kenobi needed to wear, like, a fucking mask. And he, like, never
That would
did.
be cool.
Like,
He wears a Darth Vader mask.
he's like, hello there. I'm looking for droids. I don't know why the fuck he sounds like that. All I can do is, like, the hello there, and that's about it. I don't even know how good that is.
All I can do is, you are right about one.
You must understand, one thing that happened, or he's like, what does he say? He's like, something that happens to you affects everyone. And I'm like, that's not true at all. If the fucking Gungans are fucking underwater, then that would never affect them. Like, but there's always a bigger fish.
Nice.
And then my other note for this is another horrible chase with baby Leia in episode 2.
What were they thinking?
So she's able to escape from like 3 people, whatever. Maybe these guys are just idiots. They're like Bebop and Rocksteady or something. They can't do shit. But she escapes for far too long from the most powerful, like one of the most powerful Jedis to ever exist.
Yeah.
For way too long.
Yep.
I just has overall here too much emphasis on Kid Leia. She's a thing in the 2 episodes out. Awesome to see Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan again. I did have a quote from an editor on Geek Tyrant, which I will not name his actual name, but it reminded me of Harry Knowles. But, yeah, not in a good way. He's like, I really liked when Obi-Wan was pounding the short hairs. One other character I want to talk about is young Princess Leia, who is played by Vivian Lyra Blair, I guess. Blair is incredibly charming and delightful as Leia. She just lights up the screen with every scene she is in. and she perfectly captures the spirit and personality of Carrie Fisher's version of the character, only she's a child. They gave this character an interesting part to play in the story, but I think fans are going to fall in love with the kid as Leia. I'll probably... Oh, wait, that was me. There was also a part where he says, like, Leia is, like, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series version of Grogu. I was like, not even fucking close. No one's going to buy a baby Leia fucking doll.
Yeah, that's probably what they were going for, maybe, but they failed horribly. I disagree with that take. I think a lot of people are going to hate that character.
Yeah.
But it's not the actress's fault.
Right, exactly. No, yeah. That's the last thing to fail in a movie or a show or something is the...
When I said I saw the worst 3 minutes in Star Wars history, it actually wasn't that chase. It was the first introduction of Leia. There's like a montage of her getting dressed, and I'm like, wait a minute. There's no montages in Star Wars. Like, and then she goes for like a little romp in the woods, and the mom is like, Leia, you're going to be late for that. And I was like, I thought this was supposed to be an Obi-Wan show. What is happening?
Yeah, the chase was way worse. You
It
had not seen the worst 3 minutes.
It got worse.
It's funny because you were like, I've seen the worst 3 minutes. And then like you were like, wait a minute. There's another worst 3 minutes. I'm just going to continue it because I like Ewan McGregor so damn much.
Yep. I'll watch the rest and then I'll check
It's funny
out.
because we just spent the last probably 40-something minutes, 30-something minutes bitching about it.
We're like, I can't wait to see what happens next.
We're like the assholes. We are Star Wars fans. It's like we were just given like a hellacious beating and fucking they put a ball gag on our mouth and we were like the fucking gimp in Pulp Fiction.
Well, I mean, these shows aren't designed for us. They're designed for, little kids to get into Disney princesses and stuff like that, and that's fine. I get that we're old and like not a target demographic anymore, and that's why I'm just not going to watch it anymore.
The thing that sucks is what they're doing is they either do like this or they do we're going gritty this time and they do like Rogue One, and I'm like, I don't fucking want that either. I just want fucking Star Wars again. Like, and it's the same shit with Star Trek. It's like either we're going super gritty with Picard or we're going like super phantasmical, like, but like nothing to do with Star Trek again. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, whatever.
Yep.
They got our Disney Plus subscription, so what do they give a fuck? I've watched a couple people that have gone to, like, because I guess this weekend they're having the Star Wars celebration, which, funnily enough, they had John Williams play Indiana Jones theme, and Harrison Ford showed up on stage, and they like were talking about the next Indiana Jones, and I'm like, how long until they make an Indiana Jones Star Wars crossover? Because they've already done the comic years ago. So I'm not saying I would. I don't know, but what I'm getting at is like so many channels out there and people that have like done the thing where they write up a thing about it. It's like they see the same thing we do, and we're the exact same age as them, but it's like the opposite. They're like 10 out of 10, and I'm like, dude, that's awesome if you really like it.
Yeah, if you like it, more power to you.
But I think
you have a terrible opinion, and
I'm just
your
I
tastes
don't
suck.
know. I'm trying not to. I'm trying
Not
not to go
Not really.
necrotronic here and like, go into a conniption fit again.
It's just shocking, like how bad it was. It compared to how good it. Like, this should have been a slam dunk. You got Ewan McGregor playing a beloved character.
I think I was just more so. I think I'm more so shocked when people were like they seen the same thing I did, but they're like, I thought it was fucking awesome, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah, good for you.
But I don't understand how. Like, but I guess that's my cross to bear.
I like Baby's Day Out.
I'm like Batman in the Batman movie, and they're the Riddler. They're making me. They keep me guessing.
I'm very curious to see what you thought of the Batman.
Speaking of which, are we done with the Weird Watch?
Yep.
Let's move on to our feature presentation. the dynamic man himself, Bruce Wayne, the world's greatest detective. I'm trying to think of any other synonyms. The Dark Knight. I don't know. I can't really think of any other nicknames for Batman.
He's the baby, he's the boy.
Yeah. The man and future king, the one who was raised by Alfred. He is the Batman. So, I don't know. Let's see. So, Batman, it came out earlier this year. I'm not really going to say, it's based on a DC Comics character. No shit. Everybody knows who Batman is. But this movie stars Robert Pattinson as Batman. And then Zoë Kravitz, who plays Catwoman. And then, a bunch of other people. Andy Serkis plays Alfred. Colin Farrell plays Penguin. Paul Dano, I think he's the guy that plays Riddler.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got random people in here. Not random. They're random! John Turturro plays Carmine Falcone. And I don't really know who Peter Sarsgaard plays in the movie. Maybe you can...
District Attorney Gil Colson. One of the greatest characters.
And then I think Jeffrey Wright plays...
Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, before he becomes a commissioner.
Yep.
He's, I think he's just captain or something at this
Lieutenant.
point. Lieutenant. This is actually kind of based on... loosely based on the first, Batman Year One to a degree, where... A little bit after that, I think, because he's been doing this for 2 years, and Batman at this point, he's got a couple connections. He's got the Bruce signal. The Bat signal is up, and the only person that's really his friend is fucking Commissioner Gordon or Lieutenant Gordon. And in this movie, he meets Catwoman and Penguin and the Riddler for the first time. Yeah. So that's the whole movie. That's all they do is they meet each other every 5 seconds.
I was excited to see this because it's a different take. I skipped the last few Batman movies because I thought the Batman versus Superman was so bad. I was like, I'm out.
Yeah. That was really the only one that had a ton of Batman in it because they had Justice League, and that was
I skipped that.
That was more so an ensemble shit show. It was so good they came out with 2 versions of it. Yeah, this one's essentially a noir, which is a lot of the Batman stories, especially animated ones and stuff, are told usually in that fashion where there's some mystery and they're trying to figure out who's behind it or who did this, and Batman is supposed to be he's the world's greatest detective, or supposed to be, because he's one of the smartest people. This kind of comes along when he's just now having to do that. He's I think in one part of the movie, he's I didn't expect I'd have to be a detective as well and shit, and stuff like that. I'll come out and say I thought it was pretty good.
Me too.
There's one major thing I didn't like, but when we get, I'm sure we'll talk about it. So,
okay.
Okay. Okay. Do you?
The slap would sting. Okay.
He's it wasn't right. It wasn't right.
It wasn't right. All right. Okay.
The slap would sting, but it wasn't nice. I was what? No shit. Do you have a favorite DC character, or are you kind of just?
I would say Batman.
Yeah, I think he's obviously among all the DC
really know
characters out there, Batman and Superman are the number one. Obviously Wonder Woman and stuff, but yeah, it's one of those things where most people would say just Batman.
Oh wait, no, Eggman.
Yeah,
played by Vincent Price.
He's meh.
We'll see Eggman in the sequel to this movie.
Maybe. I mean, what's his face was I want to be Eggman. Nick
You're
Cage.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The yoke's on you.
Yeah. Dude, that would crack me up. Do you...
Egg puns.
So, do you have like a favorite Batman villain? I mean, besides Eggman, or do you...
That's my joke answer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
You're like Lobot, evil style.
I liked Arnold as Mr. Freeze.
I like all of Batman's villains. Honestly, I think Spider-Man.
Okay, so
okay.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think Spider-Man and Batman have, like, for their respective franchises, have the best villains.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, for sure.
So this is one question I wanted to ask you that this movie made me think about, because, like, can you explain to me the character of the Penguin? Just the character.
Like, what do you mean?
Like, what's his deal?
You mean because there's been so many different versions of him in movies or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
So, like anything with comics, it's kind of, like, all over the place. But, like, from what I get, the main thing with him is he's kind of, like, he grew up, like, rich and stuff, kind of to a degree, like Batman. But, like, depending on, what it is. But then in certain things, it's kind of like in this movie where he is somebody that comes into kind of like organized crime and then comes up in the world. And eventually he becomes like the biggest organized crime person. Mm-hmm. And he like establishes like something called like the Iceberg Lounge, which they already have like in the movie. But like he generally runs like under the table stuff, but like he actually is I think he's the only criminal that Batman goes to for information, and he actually has a legitimate business, like a nightclub. Whereas like the Riddler or the Joker or like Mr. Freeze, they're all like kind of like just crazy bastards that have like, special stuff.
So why is he called the Penguin?
So like most of the time in these things, it's like either he's employing some sort of like bird thing, or he looks like a penguin. In this movie, they don't like.
That's what I didn't understand. That's what led me to ask this question. Is like I get it. Like in the series, he's like a guy that looks like a penguin and acts like he quacks like a duck and stuff.
He's very,
but he doesn't have like penguin powers or like he doesn't. He can't swim really fast.
I think it's like he's like kind of like when a mob person gets a big tall guy gets like a nickname like Tiny.
Stretch. Okay, yeah.
But like Penguin was made fun of for looking like he had like a long deformed nose. Beak. Yeah, so they would call him the Penguin. But in
this movie, it's just like a guy, and they call him Penguin, and I'm like, why?
Yeah,
what makes him the Penguin?
His features aren't like super accentuated to like to make him like he doesn't have like a super. He's not really deformed. He's just like,
and he's not like
like Colin Farrell. It's like Colin Farrell wanted to play the Penguin, but they were like, let's not make him look too hideous. He's just kind of like.
He just looks like a guy.
He's the most sub-optimal version that Colin Farrell could be in any of the multiverses possible. He's still like a guy. Mm-hmm. But like Penguin's never had like powers. He's just been kind of a deformed, like sad sack son of a bitch. Mm-hmm. That's why he's called the Penguin, because he looks like a penguin, or like he's kind of like round and stuff.
Just like if I was a guy who's watching this movie who'd never heard of Batman, I would be like, why are they calling this guy a penguin? Like,
yeah, it's kind of weird because like it's pretty clear why they call him the Penguin in the Tim Burton movie. Yeah. In the cartoon,
he literally has flippers. He's like,
in the cartoon, it's usually pretty pretty plain in the games as well. This is probably the most like okay looking the Penguin's ever looked. He doesn't have like any really I mean, he has maybe some scars, but he's not like fucking like Vega over here where he's got to wear a mask. But it's probably like it's the most light they've ever gone with the whole Penguin.
Yeah, I thought he was fine in this movie. What did you think of the Riddler?
So that's like my one thing I wasn't like totally loving in this movie, and not because of like what he did, but like he looked like a fucking idiot. Like, I hated his fucking mouth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't like, because, like, the Riddler's always been, like, a character I've kind of, like, you know, I've always been a huge fan of all the Batman villains, but, like, the Riddler has, like, never really been presented, like, as a real threat. He's kind of like, you know, you've got, like, Joker, you've got, like, Penguin, and, like, Riddler's kind of there, but, like, he's, you know, Batman usually just whoops his ass and throws him in Arkham. Or he's been portrayed as, like, super goofy, like, by, like, Frank Gorsh in, like, the Adam West, which is fine because everybody else was goofy, too. Or Jim Carrey, which kind of just was a straight-up crazy, you know, out of control person. In the animated series, he's more serious, and he's, like, you know, his name's, like, Edward Nygma, so, like, Enigma, that kind of thing. So in this, I don't really know if they ever, it's like something Nash or some shit like that, or like they never really, like, he's like, which is it? And he's like, you know, oh, my name is whatever. And it's, but like, I liked how he was kind of like more threatening in this, and I liked how, like, when they finally got to the riddles, but like they gave him this whole thing where he's wearing this, like, Son of Sam, like, weird green, like, I don't know, it's, I mean, I'm sure most people that have seen the poster for this, or like the lead up for this, see what he looks like. He looks like, you know, somebody just in, like, a weird, like, I don't even know what it is. It's like a gas mask or some shit.
To me, it looked like electrical tape, or like duct tape.
Yeah.
A mask made out of duct tape. But I guess this is our one disagreement, because he was my favorite part of this movie. I thought this version of the Riddler was awesome.
Yeah, I hated it. I thought it was...
It's definitely different, which I think that's why I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, they've done the Riddler the same twice, and they've never done him correct, in my opinion, live action before. It's always been, like, this goofy shit where he's wearing spandex, but they've never done, like, the what's it called, like, the blazer and the, like, the suit kind of thing. Like, I don't know why they didn't do that. Instead, they went with this, like, you know, he's like some blogger on the internet that's, like, you know, trying to get his followers all riled up and shit.
He's also, I think they took a little bit too much from Saw, where he's like Jigsaw.
Yeah,
you want to play a game?
Yeah, I actually, let me go all the way to these notes I have about this, because I wasn't sure when we were going to talk about this, but I had some stuff about this where it's, there's a part where he, like, posts his last video before he knows he's going to be captured. And some of the comments on the video are, "Rifles are good. There has never been a better time. Ready and willing. Got you, bro. Don't forget your cling wrap. It's a winter combat mask. They have them at Gotham Army Surplus. And they have the field jacket, too." And then someone says, "This is more like it." But I had that same note about, like, Jigsaw and stuff, where it's like, I liked the one scene where he like, the whole, what's it called? They're at the funeral, and the dude has to drive in, and then he has to, like, solve the riddles and stuff. I thought that was cool, and I was like, oh, this is legit. But then it was, like, fucked up because the Riddler looked like an idiot. I just wish that, like, they had at some point maybe had switched over to, like when they finally caught him, like, I was like, oh, cool, now we're gonna, like, switch over to the Riddler not wearing this stupid shit, and, like, he'll be, you know, himself. But instead it was like, no, now he's in jail for the rest of the movie. But it was weird because, like, I don't really know anything about this guy that played him, Paul Dano. I think I've heard of him, but
he's been in tons of movies. My favorite thing he's in is There Will Be Blood. One of my favorite movies ever.
He looked like fucking Daniel Jackson over here again. You got another guy with glasses and fucking nerdo.
Daniel Jackson.
From fucking Dr. Daniel Jackson from fucking Stargate.
Oh. Yeah, that's right.
It's like, okay, dude. I never, like, Oh yeah, here we go. It's the son of Sam, and then like fucking this guy looks like BTK, but it's like there's no torture. He just kills and binds people. Mm-hmm. Like he like fucking wrapped the dude's head up.
So he's BK. Burger King.
Yeah, I was like, huh?
Yeah,
I like the Batman inner monologue. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was very film noirish. Yeah, I thought so too, and I thought it was cool that like it's still a project to him.
Yeah,
he's like, I'm not sure if I'm like we're gonna do this for a little while and see how it goes, and then
because he just started doing it like a little bit ago, and it's like, you know, he's still like they have the bat signal, and you see like it's starting to become a thing where like I liked where they light up the sky with the bat signal, and like criminals like. He's like, I can't be anywhere, you know, I can't be anywhere. I can't be everywhere at once, but, you know, it's to the point where people see that, they're like, okay,
they get scared.
Yeah, maybe I won't commit a crime or something. Because people were like, they showed different crimes possibly being, you know, happening or whatever, and people are thinking twice about it. They're like, which I thought was legit, because you don't really ever see that in the movies of, like, Batman actually striking fear.
Yes, I had the exact same thought. I thought that was cool. This movie, more than any other, like you see Batman from the criminal's perspective, and it's like scary.
Yeah. When he first like gets into like a fight with a gang of guys, he like he probably kills a guy like when he beats the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
Because he just beats him until he's like on the ground, and he hits him a bunch more times than everybody else is like.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Robert Pattinson's like a big guy, but they make him seem like big and like hulking in this movie, which was cool.
Yeah.
And I liked how you could hear his boots, like, as he was
He comes out of the shadows, and you hear the boots before you see him, and then it's like, oh,
shit. That was cool. Yeah. I'm not sure that's very Bat-like, but...
Bats are known for wearing boots.
Right. They're like stealth killers, but it was cool.
Bats are stealth killers.
Yeah.
You. Yeah, I think at this point it seems like Batman's going like
he's more of a brute.
Intimidation. Yeah. And it's like because he also makes like some mistakes and stuff where it's like, you know, but
I love the way this movie looks. Like it's really dark looking, but it looks really cool.
But you can actually see shit when you need to. Yeah. Unlike that like one episode of Game of Thrones where everything was so dark, people were like literally complaining.
Or Solo, the first 40 minutes of Solo, you can't see anything. It's like incompetent.
Like shining a light on the screen.
What did you think of Gotham City in this movie? The way it was shown.
I thought it was good. It was one of those things where I kept being like, is this like New York or what is this? But like from when I like saw the credits at the end, they actually, I think what they did was they took a bunch of cities and put them together. Because it said like Canada and a bunch of other you know places. I'm thinking what happened was they kind of did that because they went for the cobbled together thing instead of the Tim Burton thing where they kind of matte paint it. And it's way better than the Christopher Nolan thing where they literally just went filming in Chicago. Yeah,
no changes.
Because you can tell, and it's like
I hated that so much. And it's Batman Begins. It was actually like stylish.
Yeah,
and then The Dark Knight. It's like it's just Chicago. I'm like, dude.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
That's the thing that pissed me off about the Christopher Nolan films is I liked the first film, but then like the other films, it just seemed like they're just like, you know what, we're already spending all this time on all this other shit. Let's just film in Chicago because we'll get a tax break, and it's like, why? But yeah, I like the look of it.
Cool, me too.
And I guess I can't really say I mean, I was glad the Riddler was in it. I was, you know, because I liked the character. I think I just was a little disappointed.
You just didn't like his costume.
Yeah. Well, it was weird because the Riddler has never been a character that's like, he needed to wear a mask. But like in this version, they make him kind of like an evil Bruce Wayne because he was in an orphanage too. And he ends up like, I guess being like, when what's his name? Thomas Wayne died. The whole fund that he put towards these orphans got stolen by all these corrupt bastards in Gotham City. and essentially all the people that needed it, like the Riddler growing up and stuff, and like all of his friends and families that that were underprivileged, got like screwed over and they got nothing. And like, it's like, well, that's kind of like a noble thing to be pissed about.
Yeah.
But then he like, it's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like he becomes like I guess it's all like most villains in Batman stuff. Like one thing happens and they end up becoming like, except for like the Joker, where he's like, I'm the wild card.
Cowabunga.
But that's why I like Mr. Freeze. Like his whole thing is like he's almost never like he doesn't ever start out being like a bad guy. He's like a good guy, and then kind of just his wife gets fucked up, and he's trying to find a cure for her disease and stuff. And it's like one thing leads to another.
Yep. Yeah. I thought it was kind of interesting. Like the villain's plan in this movie is like you said, it's noble. Like the system is all corrupt, and they're just like trying to expose it. I'm like, good.
It's like once you put it together, it's like Riddler and Batman and Commissioner Gordon and like all these like the people, like they're all working like together towards a common goal. It's just until the very end you don't really know that. Obviously, the way that like Riddler is going about it is like fucked up because he's also like killing innocent people for no reason. But it's definitely interesting. I liked how they actually have Batman like looking at the crime scene, and he's like, it's so early in his career that like a lot of the stuff they're like, what do you think it means? And usually Batman knows everything, but he's like, I fucking don't know. He like tells Gordon that he's like, I don't fucking know.
Is that why this movie's 3 hours long? Because it takes him so long to figure stuff out.
Because he has Alfred doing everything. Because he goes home and he's like, Alfred's like, hey, I've been working on that puzzle, Master Wayne, and I actually figured out this cipher. And I'm like, because sometimes they don't explain this, but like Alfred is like kind of a badass. He was in like World War II and all this other shit, and he's like an ex-army or like not army. He was in like the Secret Service, I think, because he's like a British man. And he's like got all this training and he's like super smart. I guess one of the other complaints I would have is that like Andy Serkis didn't get enough time as Alfred. I would have liked to seen him more in this movie, but
he was good.
I would love to see a sequel to this, honestly, with these same people. I would love to see this universe kind of grow, because if they just keep it with these people, I'd be interested.
Me too. I don't know why it had to be 3 hours long.
It's one of those things where it's like, I can't really put my finger on it and be like, I hated this being super long, but it was also like,
I was never bored, but it dragged a little bit.
There was like, I couldn't really think of a part that I was like, this is bullshit, but like you said, it's like, when I saw the thing, I was like, oh god, I think Matt's going to kill me on the podcast.
No, I do. I probably would have seen this in theaters, but then I saw it was 3 hours, and I was like, no, wait.
That's the reason why I didn't see it in theaters, because I was like, dude, what if I got to get up and take a piss? Which I actually did have to do in the fucking film.
Spoiler.
And I pissed on the screen.
That was during Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I was like, ah!
You're like, I'll show them.
Yeah. I'll show them. I'll ruin my TV.
I loved the use of the Nirvana song in this movie, Something in the Way.
Something in the Way.
Like, perfect for a Batman
It's funny because that's like something that's gotten a lot of like meme, like people have like made fun of it.
I can't believe that song's never been used in movies like before, or at least not popular.
Yeah. I think it worked. I think Nirvana and all that stuff would work. Like, I'm shocked that it hasn't been used in Batman before, but it works so well because Batman's like a broody, angsty, like,
and that's like a scary
character,
song,
right? But yeah, it works really well. I liked some of the gadgets, like he had like a contact in his eye that's like a camera, and it like records everything, and he like goes back and later in the film he actually has like Catwoman wear one, Selena Kyle. Alfred played by Smeagol. There was a part here where they had to do the Alfred, you're not my father, and then later on something happens to Alfred and they commiserate their feelings and they handhold. I actually was kind of shocked because at first I was like, are they gonna fucking kill Alfred in this first film? And I was like, nah, they're not gonna do that, never mind, because they've actually done that quite a lot. Like, remember in the old Batman, Batman, they did that in, I think, the TV show with Adam West. They actually did that they've done it in the comics, they've done it in the animated series, they did it in, like, even the...
One of them, Batman kills him.
Yeah, George Clooney. Like, remember, like,
he
one
died
of
of
those,
old age or something.
He gets, like, frozen by Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
And, like, then they finally, like, get the cure or whatever. And it's like... Okay, dude, fucking shit. How many times is Alfred gonna be fucked up? Did you like about the scene where fucking Batman or Bruce Wayne comes into the room and Alfred tells him that there are fresh berries? I was like, what? He's like, fresh berries there? And I was like, huh?
He needs the berries.
Yeah. And then there's a literal thumb drive in this film.
Yep.
Because
hilarious.
They're like, what would you call it? Not decapitations, but like dismemberments.
Yeah, dismemberment. I was glad. Like at first, I was like, "Oh, this movie's so like grim and there's no humor to it." But there was a bit of humor in it, which I always appreciate.
Well, that's the thing is that I always like hate whenever they're like, "We need to make Batman and gritty and all this stuff," and it's like. Well, that's true.
You can go too far with like the seriousness.
Yeah, he's the darkest DC character, but like
it shouldn't be too serious.
The way that like they balance that out is like when Batman or a character in that universe finally makes like a dry joke. It's like it's like in Star Trek when Worf finally says something funny. You're like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, but Batman beats some more ass at a rave, and he finally meets Penguin. Or, I guess I think they call him Ozzy or something in this, but it's Oswald Cobblepot. Mm-hmm. He's a damn pervert. I fucked up my notes. I meant to say Batman watching someone undress. He's a damn pervert. No. He's actually just seen Catwoman. Ooh, he's seen a ghost.
My God, he's seen a ghost. No one's ever gonna top Danny DeVito as Penguin, ever. Can't be done.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like just totally out there, he's totally like out there for that for sure. That was like the universe, like the Tim Burton movies. That was like, I mean, it started the whole, like, Batman animated series, which is probably, like, the best version of Batman. But, it like, those characters, like, the way that Penguin looked was based on that, obviously, for, like, the animated series, so...
I think my sister still has nightmares about Penguin. Like, scarred for life from that movie.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up. That's... The parents complaining is the reason why, like, Batman Returns was the last Tim Burton Batman, because... it was so fucked up, and I was always like, man, that's bullshit. Parents should stay out of that shit. But, like, thinking back, it's like, dude, he had, like, fucking black tar coming out of his mouth and all kinds of other gross shit was going on. It was like, fucking, Christopher Walken was, like, sexually molesting Michelle Pfeiffer, and she got, like, fucking electrocuted and all this horrible shit. It's like, what the fuck?
I like Jeffrey Wright as... I'm like, more like Jeffrey Wrong. I like Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon, but like I'm tired of him playing second banana to like he's second banana to James Bond, second banana to Batman.
Yeah.
Like, let him be a lead. It's time.
Then the Batman first year like animated thing, and then the comics. A lot of that was actually like half Batman, half Gordon, because it kind of showed like the dual nature of pretty much the people that were gonna like fix Gotham and stuff. And like if anything, I would have liked to seen like more of him kind of being like, I guess he was kind of like the lead for like the police on the good side because there were so many corrupt bastards in it and stuff. But yeah, I agree. Like he was in Hunger Games as well, and he was like a side character. And I was like, when the fuck is this guy gonna get like a like an actual main thing?
Yeah, he's awesome.
What'd you think about like the commissioner's last moments on TV? It was like a video that was posted on social media by the Riddler. I'm like, What the fuck? That would never happen.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, they're like, what are you, you're gonna be fucking killed. And he's like, whoa. And I'm like, like, it's like,
cut to commercial.
yeah, I'm like, that like, if they played an uncensored fucking, you know, Taliban beheading on fucking national TV, all gore and guts, no fucking cut. Like, are you fucking kidding me? There's no way in hell that would happen. I was just like, what'd you think about John Turturro in this?
He blew me away.
He blew me.
Dude,
Yeah.
we've seen him in hundreds of movies, and he's usually
Yeah.
like
He's
a
usually
lot of
like
times he's
a goofy
character
sack of shit, yeah.
or like a sidekick.
Yeah. Well, not a sack of shit, but like he's usually like someone you don't take seriously, and you're like,
or like a pathetic character, or
right?
like the butt of a joke.
Like in Transformers, he's like a joke. In like, what's it called? What's that movie? The Big Lebowski. He's kind of a joke in that.
Mm-hmm. Miller's Crossing. He's like one of the most pathetic characters of all time. But I've never seen him like be so evil or play such an evil character.
Yeah.
And it was scary. Like that's good acting right there, is to like have the guy you've seen in millions of other movies and like be like, holy shit, this guy's scary.
Well, it's like he's kind of typecast, and you would have never been like, oh, this guy's like, you know, somebody that could actually be like, because Carmine Falcone, like before Batman really becomes like a big deal, is like, you know, that's back when organized crime wasn't led by like, you know, crazy bastards like the Penguin and the Riddler and Joker. Mm-hmm. It was like you had like Carmine Falcone and like all these other just random, you know, dudes out there.
Yep.
And he's a character that, yeah, for sure was like, he's in league with all these cops and stuff for like underhanded shit.
He's running the show.
He plays him to the point where like you could see him, he's like kind of nice. Like, oh, this guy's, you know, he's not a bad guy. And then he's like, I'm going to choke out this fucker. And I'm like, you know, it's just like you said, it goes to show that like this guy's consistently been playing fucking like goofy bastards, like Jack Black kind of shit. And then now he's playing like, you know,
The
Al
lead
Pacino
villain.
over here.
Yeah.
Don Pacino.
Yeah, I loved him. Thought he was great.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the Batmobile? I'm always curious to see a new
Yeah.
iteration of the Batmobile.
This is one I liked. I liked the whole, like, you know, I wasn't you know, I don't know. I don't want
It's
to
kind of more of a muscle car.
Yeah, I don't want to slam on the Christian Bale ones, but I was kind of like, those were a little too tanky for me. Like,
What's your favorite if you had to pick one?
probably, I don't know. The Tim Burton one for me is like classic.
Yeah,
I mean,
same.
that's
that Batmobile
Yeah.
is like the coolest thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen in my life to this day.
It's so classic that like that's what not only the Tim Burton like based animated like series with Kevin Conroy like was based on, but then anytime they've done one after that, it's like you can still see the influence in it, and like, you know, the whole like jet thrusters and like, you know, obviously the Adam West one was like a cool car, but it was like, looking back on it, it's like, okay, that's kind of like goofy, but it was still cool.
It's
This one was more so like, you know, this guy's got money, but, you know, he just took a car and he, you know, this is, I think, before he hooked up with like Lucius Fox and stuff and had him really help him with his shit, because this is like a muscle car, like you said, that's like the Batmobile, which I like though. I mean, it was still still legit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was pretty legit. I liked it. I thought I had like another. What do you think about when like Batman goes to jail and then he like escapes, and then he like jumps off the roof, and instead of like doing the classic like, you know, spreading his wings thing, he actually uses like a flight suit, which I thought was kind of interesting because I don't think I've ever seen that in a Batman film before.
Yeah, it was one of my favorite parts of this movie. Like, for the first hour or so, I was getting a little bit nervous because I was like, there's not enough of Batman like doing cool stuff in this movie, but You definitely get your fill by the end.
I mean, it's also like Batman's actually in this film. Like, he's walking around as Batman. He goes through the police station as Batman. And, you know, and I'm not one of those people that's like, this is bullshit. Bruce Wayne's in the film too much. Because it's like, if Bruce Wayne and Batman are the same fucking person.
And this movie's called The Batman.
Right.
Not The Bruce.
But it's like, you know, I don't think that's what people don't understand. Like, Bruce Wayne is like... Bruce Wayne's like an act that he puts on. Because Batman is who he is. Whereas, like, a character like Clark Kent is who Superman is. But Superman's... That's the secret... the secret identity, obviously, is Clark Kent. But you know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's like when people say, like... You know, if they make it interesting, it doesn't matter. Like, that was my biggest issue, though, with, like, the Christian Bale whole thing at the end, where they were, like, he was, like, freaking, you know, Bruce Wayne for all that time. It's because his Bruce Wayne was fucking shit, I felt. It was just, like, who gives a shit? Like, they didn't flesh that part of him out. So, when they spent the last movie, like, almost all Bruce Wayne, it was, like, you know... Whereas, like, if they did, like, more Bruce Wayne in this film, it probably would have been fine because I felt he was fine as that character. It was, like, I don't think anything will ever top how crazy Michael Keaton was. He was more crazy as Bruce Wayne than he was Batman, but that's just because he was playing Michael Keaton, not...
You want to get nuts?
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
But I thought that was a very cool moment.
Yeah.
The prison escape.
The chase with the Penguin with the whole car thing, when he like is like, I got your ass, and then he like looks back and he like is ramping over and he like somehow makes the Penguin's car flip or some shit, and he's like coming towards him, he's like, shit. I was like, it's like they did a good job because they made, like, the villains, like, even, like, the Penguin was like, what the fuck are you? Like, he was, like, terrified.
Yeah.
And it was, like, that's how it should be because, like, the only person that shouldn't give a fuck is, like, somebody like the Joker. He didn't give a fuck if he gets fucking beat up or killed. You know what I mean? Like, he's a true sociopath. And, you know, the Penguin is an asshole, but he's like essentially just like a mob character, you know, like
that's why we need the Eggman to come in. He was scared of his own dinosaur.
he runs off the frame in the first second. He's like, yo.
We haven't talked about what's your thoughts on Catwoman in this movie.
Oh yeah, I thought she was totally fine, honestly, because like she was believable. Because in all of the stuff, like Catwoman is usually a character that's she's either like she's almost always a love interest for Batman, but he's so devoted to his cause that he's like never gonna settle down with her, kind of thing, unless it's like a special thing, like they did in like the third movie possibly for like Christian Bale's thing. But like I liked her in this because she was like, you know, they didn't make her be like, oh, I'm in love with you now. Like she was her own person, and like, you know.
Yep. Until you find out she's related to Falcone, I'm like, does everyone have to be related to everyone in these movies? Like, just let her be a person. Like, who cares? That did not enhance the movie for me at all. It just made me, like, annoyed.
It was almost as bad as Riddler's costume. Yeah, it's weird because I don't know a ton about Catwoman, but what I know of her is, like, I don't think she has any ties to Falcone in any of the fucking shit. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't understand. Like, I never was like, I could be wrong about that. I'm sure somebody else like, oh, fucking she is. But that's something that could have been left out because it didn't really add anything for me. Like, obviously, it's like they had a whole thing where, like, you know, oh, this is personal and stuff, and you know, this is the reason I'm going for it. But, like, the whole thing about that was, like, if they already had a reason for it to be personal, fucking her friend got killed.
Exactly.
And not only that, but, like, even if it didn't, even if they didn't have that, it didn't have to be personal because Catwoman is all about, like, stealing shit. Like, she's, like...
Cat burglar.
Yeah. So, like, she's always about, like, you know, taking, you know, the stuff and leaving at the end. It's essentially, like, the whole thing with, like, you know, at the end of, like, all the Lupin stuff where, like, she fucks over the main guy and then they're back where they started from. And it's, like, you know, like you said, they didn't have to have this whole thing.
Yep.
It didn't, like, piss me off, but it was also one of those things where, like, it would have probably been better for Carmine Falcone's character if he didn't have that connection.
Yeah.
And it didn't really, you know, do any favors to anybody.
No.
Alfred lives getting a bomb exploded in his fucking face.
That made me think of Picard.
Yeah. That was even
Except
more...
at least Alfred's like a healthy man, and Picard's like a skeleton.
Not only that, but it was just like a bomb and not like an android nuke. That fucking...
blasts him back like the length of a football field.
Yeah. His body got blasted, and that's not what ended up killing him. It was something else.
He got sick.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Man lives through fucking nuclear holocaust in his face, but he dies.
He didn't even get in a fridge like Indy.
He dies of old age.
Like the next day.
Yeah, I was like, God.
Sorry.
I so want to, like, I don't know if I want to, but I'm tempted to, like, be like, man, we should talk about Picard more, but I think we talk about it enough. It's just there's so much stupid shit that happens in that fucking show. Season 1. Okay, so Batman. Okay, see, Batman ran down the side of the building. I thought that was pretty cool. He like hooks himself up, runs down the side of the building. So I wanted to have a call back to one of our previous episodes here, and I wrote this note. We've got a scene here with Batman fighting in the dark, and the only thing that illuminates the fight is gunfire. And it's miles away from when we watched Equilibrium, and literally you couldn't see shit, and there was actually nothing to see when you could.
Yep.
Whereas this is the opposite. It's
he was doing gun kata.
Yeah. When you could see shit, you could actually, like, you know, cool shit was happening.
That scene was so cool and so well done.
Yeah.
And, yeah, it makes you compare that with, like, the incompetence of Equilibrium.
Yeah.
And you can tell a big difference.
Yeah. I have just a note here that says Falcone gets reamed. He gets fucking shot in the fucking head from the Riddler, from the Diddler. They finally catch up to him, and he's been unmasked. He's in a diner. When Batman says that, like, they're not alike at all, he goes fucking insane. He's like, wow, wow. He's like, bullshit. He's like, no, this is what's supposed to happen. No. And I was like, Jesus.
That's why I thought he was so good, because it was like he captured like the craziness of Frank Gorshin, but also like was scary too. Like he went both ways.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good.
I just didn't like his costume. So
I understand.
Let's see, we already went over the stupid video he posted. So he blows up the Gotham River wall, which I don't fucking understand how that worked. Like, they just built a wall around the outside and everything else was below it? Like, that is the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. Like,
look what happened in New Orleans when the levees broke.
Look what happened in New Orleans. Yeah, I don't really know what to say to that, because I guess that did happen. But I don't understand what the fuck they were thinking.
Yeah.
Because, like, when they built the city, why didn't they build it? Well, how the fuck did they even build it in the first place? Because think about this.
Don't think too hard about it.
It's under the fuclike water. So did they, like, build it underwater and then fucking, like, put a wall around it?
They started with the roofs and built down.
They, like, fucking pyramided it. It's like, what? So I was like, okay, well, this makes no sense, but whatever. Batman kicks the shit out of, like, the Son of Sam army. I like how they show, like, Batman getting, like, finally... He's showing, like, fear to the enemy, but, like, he finally starts becoming, like, a hero and getting the trust of the people,
yes.
which I thought was fucking awesome.
I thought it was an excellent end monologue where he learns about that he's starting to give people hope.
Yeah. He's like, I didn't, when I first started out with this, I just wanted to kick ass and make a difference, but like, he's like, this is actually like becoming like a symbol, and I'm like actually I'm doing something that I never thought of, kind of like when he said like, I didn't expect to be a detective. He was like, I never thought that like I'd be giving people hope, and I never thought I'd be like a hero to people and stuff. So essentially he's like, it's like the reverse, like it's like he's like a symbol for evil, or he's a symbol for evil people to be afraid of, but for good people to have hope in. And like, he's like, essentially he's like helping people out at the end and like airlifting people out. Well, not him. He's like putting them on. He's like, woo. And then Joker and the Riddler become friends.
That pissed me off, dude. Why do we have to have it set up for the next movie in every movie? Like, make a movie with a beginning, middle, and end, and you're good. Like, that was just so unnecessary. And
it was also one of those things where like, this is probably nitpicking or shit-picking. But like, the Riddler's in jail and he's like fucking bitching and moaning about how his plans were ruined and all this shit. And then like the Joker's like, hey friend, it's, don't be sad. I'm gonna fucking help you out. I'll make a friend with you. And I'm like, so the Joker, like the greatest villain that Batman's ever known, was already put in prison by him? Or like, what the fuck why the fuck did they, like, they're teasing at them teaming up in the next one when, like, this is the same shit they did in like the Batman, like Superman shit, and it's like, I don't like that because it's like,
and the Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, and I don't like that only because it's like you're downplaying your like villains.
Exactly.
And it's like you're selling them short because you're already having them team up, and it's like, dude, if you're gonna do that, save that for like, I don't know, later on. But anyway, I would give. I guess we didn't even give a fucking rating to Necrotronic. I realized till just now, because at least I don't think I gave one. But it's too late. Did you?
Yeah, I think.
Maybe I did then too.
Yeah, we did.
But
let's not talk about that.
I'd give this movie an 8.95.
Oh,
nice music.
Nice music. I think I'll go 7.95.
Nice. I have to take a point off for sexual behavior. For Riddler. Not for sexual behavior, for his costume. 1 whole point. We don't do halves here, I guess, right? So, what would that even be? What would be half of 9.95?
We don't do halves.
I know, but what would that be in mathematical terms?
We don't do halves.
What would it be?
Don't ask me. I'm just a kid.
Okay. So speaking of being a kid, what are you gonna fucking nominate next week?
For weird watches?
Yeah.
Let's watch The Saint with Roger Moore.
Okay.
And for the feature presentation, it's time. We're finally gonna do a Seagal movie.
Mm-hmm.
Out for justice.
Okay. I'll have to look this one up. The only Seagal movie I've ever watched is Under Siege 1, and I think I've seen some of 2.
Yeah, we watched Under Siege 2, remember? Because at the end, the villain, like, is hanging out of the helicopter, and he slams the door shut and slices all his fingers off, and he's like,
yeah.
"Right back!"
Yeah. Well, what happened? So, like, for Under Siege 1, it's like he's on a boat, and then in the second one, it's like a train, right? Yeah.
The first one, he's a cook on a boat,
Yeah.
which he's a sailor, so that makes sense. And the second one, he's just on vacation.
Yeah.
Terrorists drop in.
So, The Saint with, who?
Roger
Moore. You should have done that one with, Folks, but I think...
I know. I remember I told you I messed up. I'll make up for it.
And Out for Justice. Has Seagal ever done TV before?
Out for justice. I don't think he's on TV.
We could have reviewed the SNL with him. That would have been.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That would have been true torture.
Yeah, that one clip was enough.
So, I guess, do you have anything else to say about Batman or Obi-Wan Kenobi or
Nope, I think we nailed it.
living life to the fullest?
We covered it. Conclusive.
Cover yourself. So
Cover your eyes if you try to watch Kenobi.
Yeah. It's not all bad. So, I guess, just have fun. Stay safe for the happy Memorial Day weekend. If you're watching this on YouTube, it is Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day. And you can catch all of our episodes on YouTube every Monday, and catch us on Instagram and Twitter and all that fun stuff at SteakBelmont64. And do you have anything else to say to these fine people? I'll let you have the last laugh as Riddler talked to the Joker.
All I have to say about that is, bye!